So he told me to choose my favorite time for this one. I'm gonna do that in just a moment, because I want to see what happens, but I also need to make sure I can see chat, because that would be a great idea. How's everyone doing? This may be the last stream for Stanley Parable. Ah, I can see chat. Huzzah. To the beans. Kind of feels weird, like there's no music or anything on the screen. So it's just kind of an empty screen. Sorry. Used to games like having some kind of intro or something. Alright, time to set this clock. And get this out of my lap, because that would probably be a good idea. What is my favorite time? No, I'm not doing the 4:20. It's everybody else's favorite time. I'm not named like that. 4:44 a.m. Legit my favorite time. So, last time when I started up this game, they said, thank you for changing the time every time. This time choose your favorite time. So this is my favorite time. Ah, 4:44 a.m. Your favorite time of day. Or could you simply not resist giving me the correct time again? After all, I know how much you enjoy setting the time correctly. Okay, now I'm curious how accurate 4:44 a.m. is. Let's use another slider to find out. How accurate is 4:44 a.m.? How accurate? What do you mean how accurate? It's accurately my favorite. Moderately accurate. It's accurately my favorite time of day. You know, can I just say, regardless of the accuracy of the clock, I'm having a great time adjusting these settings. I feel like I'm learning more about you, how you like things to be set. It's good to collect data. I wish we had more sliders, but we've gone through all the sliders I have. Perhaps I can invent some new sliders to gather new data on you. Stop gathering my data. Shouldn't be too hard. Yeah, let me whip up a couple new ones. Should be ready by the time you boot up the game. Should be by the next time I boot up the game. Okay, so I was thinking this was going to be my last stream, but I might stream this one more time because there must be something else going on. We've done a lot of choices so far for the Stanley Parable 2. So I'm feeling like I was feeling like maybe this would be the last stream. I don't know what else this deluxe edition has though. So just adjusting some of these things here real quick. I want to be able to see chat better. Or I might not stream the next one, and you guys can just buy the game and find out for yourself what it is. Alright. The end is never the end.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
We opened up the screen.
Employee number 427's
it was just
job
a straight
was simple.
hallway. So I
He
think
sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on the key.
Oh, sorry, I skipped it. So for anybody who hasn't seen the beginning. Oh, this is not a straight hallway. Oh no. Okay, so let's repeat what we did last time. Oh, but it was the Figleys.
All of his co-workers were gone.
How do I
What could it
that?
mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
I think I had the bucket. And I think I went down the correct path. The one that goes all the way to the ending.
A good
so
bucket,
let's see if we can...
a strong bucket, a humble bucket, a committed bucket, a bucket of culture and distinction.
This bucket just keeps getting better, man. All hail the bucket!
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Alright, yeah, we'll go door on the left.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
TP report? What? What does that say? TPS report. I demand
Stanley,
more
we
stickers.
must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have no remaining stickers. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
I demand more stickers. I don't see the input thing.
Stepping into his manager's
Did I miss
office,
it?
Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional... But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer
How
luck.
did I know that
Was it
code?
the bucket knew all along?
It
Was
the
the bucket guiding him?
Yes.
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 This is certainly the most logical explanation.
It is. It absolutely is. Alright, so let's head down. So I think I got this ending by going down the correct way. And then...
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate.
And then coming back to the
It would be
office.
all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
We got the bucket. I really don't like how that snaps sparks at me. I'm not a fan
Stanley
of
and the
that.
bucket
Stop
walked
doing
straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Alright, so let's see. The mind control facility. I'm just gonna go
The
quick
lights
these guys, 'cause we
rose
see
on an
saw this
enormous
last time.
room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold?
The gas!
Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
Alright. There it is.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in
never
the
drop a
office
bucket.
was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as
Aw,
Stanley
poor
cradled
bucket.
it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Yes, Bucket, it will be okay. Everything will be okay. I promise, Bucket.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence
I wanna
as
go up
well?
there.
Had the
I think
bucket
it'd be
been
cool if I
told to
could
do
actually
things it
explore
didn't
the
wish
rest
to
of
do?
this, you know?
What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in
I
the
wonder
first place?
if there's a way
These
to
questions raced furiously in
like
Stanley's
hack through the
feeble
game and
mind.
just like walk around. Like no clip, I guess.
No!
And then
He
just, like,
screamed into the bucket.
see if
He
there's
couldn't
things
accept it. His
behind
own
that
life in someone
door.
else's control? Never!
It'd be so fun
He
to just
squeezed the bucket
explore
tighter.
all the
His one
extra
friend
stuff.
in the entire world.
I'm so curious.
At this
It'd be
point,
fun.
he could trust no one except for the bucket.
Trust no one except the bucket. Oh, hail the bucket. Alright,
But here was the
so
proof.
gonna go the
The
correct
heart
way
of the
one more
operation.
time.
Controls
We do have to come
labeled with
back here
emotions,
and
happy or
try
sad
to
or
turn
content.
on the machine
Walking,
next.
eating,
But we're gonna
working,
turn
all
off
of
the
it
machine
monitored and
first,
commanded from this
'cause I
very
wanted to see
place.
what happened
And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this
find the input
machinery
computer.
would never again exert its terrible power. Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over? Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away.
Freedom.
Excitedly, the two
Freedom
of them
for the
began to discuss the
bucket.
kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this
Bucket
massive
freedom.
door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth.
I still think
Both
that's
of them
hilarious.
wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support, and... What? Wait. What was happening?
No.
Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed?
No, we are going to be free.
An
We shall be
unbearable
free, Bucket.
silence filled the room,
We shall be
lingering in
free.
uncertainty,
Freedom.
until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility
that this
itself
game's
recognized the incredible
New
calming
content
presence
culminates
of the
to
bucket,
I added a
needed
bucket
the
of
soothing
figurines,
warmth of the bucket,
and yet it's this
the
interesting to
lens
me. I'm
of
having
the
a
bucket.
blast.
No. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms.
No.
Not while this building has anything to say
It really
about
is
it.
something like
Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now,
Yay, glasses.
he was about to find out.
Okay, so I think this produced the weird hallway. It didn't produce our hallway this time. Was it the input thing? I couldn't find the thing to input.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Darn.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
And I missed a computer. I'm upset about that. I'll figure out how to unlock all your secrets. Alright, well, we got one input. Whoa. It's about to go without my bucket. Hold on, wait a minute. Gotta get my bucket. Alright. So we're gonna go...
The embrace of an old friend. A weathered companionship that stands the test
I
of
love that there
time.
are so many unique dialogues
Stanley clutched
or
the bucket
monologues
tightly to his chest
for this
and
bucket.
entered the door on his left.
That was ridiculous. And it's just like, it had somebody sitting in the room, like, write a whole bunch of
Still
bucket
no one was
descriptions.
here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office. Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have... Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket
running.
walked upstairs to the
Alright,
boss's
so we're gonna
office.
get a completely different ending then, because I was not able to do the thing I thought I was gonna be able to do. Which is sad.
Stepping into his
I must have
manager's
missed a
office,
step somewhere.
Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him?
Yes.
Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Hailing the bucket as usual. Okay, so this time we're gonna turn on the machine and see what happens.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control
Interesting,
Facility.
I didn't try to like comfort Stanley with the bucket or anything like that this time. Because usually when I step out of the
The lights rose on an
elevator,
enormous
does
room
that.
packed with television screens.
everything will
What
be okay.
horrible secret did this place
Peter
hold?
Stanley says I
Stanley
can
and the
open it,
bucket
says I
both
can.
wondered to
Stanley.
themselves.
The bucket really does talk. The narrator's just talking over the bucket, so you can't hear it.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped. monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine. Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do?
Skip
What
bucket?
kinds
Oh
of
no!
things does a bucket
I got
want to do
confused.
or not want
Everything
to
is a
do
bucket.
in the first place?
A button is a bucket.
These questions raised furiously in
we've
Stanley's
established this.
feeble
Everything is a bucket.
mind. No! He screamed into
I
the
need to get a
bucket.
skip
He
bucket.
couldn't accept
I've already been through
His
this.
own life in someone else's control. Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
Alright. So
But here was
now-
the proof. The heart of the
control
operation.
facility.
Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this... But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls.
Oh no!
Stanley gasped in
bucket?
horror.
How
Had this
dare!
been the bucket's plan all along?
It was!
To take over the machine
It
and
was.
claim the power for itself?
No!
How could the bucket have betrayed him like this? Stanley was
bucket.
prepared to throw the
No.
bucket away in disgust
I wanna
when
see behind me,
suddenly
but I'm
an
afraid I won't be
image
able to see
appeared
anything.
upon the enormous screen.
What enormous screen.
Birds.
What?
Silly birds.
What?
The control buttons became active again.
Silly birds. Oh, is this like being in the hole? Okay, there's nothing behind me. It kinda is. You can see the path a little bit. I'm curious if you can actually leave. Okay, you can. Alright. I like the music. So we either want this bird or that bird. I like the bird with the open wings. Aww, pretty birds.
Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all.
So it's just left
It was
and right.
a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world. The mind controls were only a facade to disguise
So
its
there's not
true
a bomb
intention.
that's gonna go off now.
Had the bucket known this all along? Stanley marveled at the metal genius in his hands, the
Oh,
one
this
who had pointed
genius
him
bucket.
towards this incredible discovery. Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place,
That's like
flipping
spending
through
the rest of
live
your lives watching
streams
cat
of the
videos.
silliest birds imaginable. Of all the possible paths his life could have taken, this
Alright, that's
one
something to
was
do.
surely the best. And Stanley was
I
happy.
love owls. Aww, Stanley was happy. Interesting though, because I would have expected. I don't know. Alright.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
How different is it if I don't take the bucket with me? Because I think if I don't take the bucket with me, I just play Stanley Parable 1. Is how I understand it. But I did find a Figley. I don't know. Alright, we'll take this.
The bucket made Stanley want to be a better man and a better co-worker. In time, perhaps, he would become both of those things.
Is there anything else we missed over on the left side? Let's go downstairs and see if I miss any. No, going downstairs with the bucket, I think only has one route. Okay, let's go to the right.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
Absolutely.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yeah, no. Never
Yeah,
mind.
no.
The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Alright, so we're not going to do that. We're going to go this way.
No,
Said the bucket.
No.
don't go to the meeting room.
Okay,
Go somewhere
okay,
else.
okay.
The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift. Good,
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him.
Alright,
It should have
now we
alarmed him, of
haven't
course,
gone
because
all the
buckets
way to
can't
the other
talk.
side
But Stanley
with this
chose
bucket,
not
so
to
I'm
think
very
about this
curious what
obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
this dark room over here. Why does it sound like Little Karibo is doing this voice to me right now? I am Malik Blishtar. Alright, hold on. Before I do that, let me grab this real quick. I gotta find out what's in this dark room. I just gotta put this in here. So I need to adjust the screen. It keeps popping away from me. Alright, let's go.
Now pick up the phone.
Said the bucket.
Pick up the phone, and it will take us back home, where we can go about life together.
And I could pick up the phone, or...
Whoa, hold on. Why did you unplug the phone? Were you trying to resist the bucket's orders? Stanley, I was joking. Obviously, the bucket isn't talking to you and telling you to do things. Buckets can't talk. It was a joke. Don't you get the joke? It's funny, Stanley. A talking bucket. Can't you see? Oh, goodness. I must have really bungled up the delivery if you actually took me seriously. Where did I mess up the joke? Should I have paused for longer or spoken quicker? Comedic timing is so difficult. I wish I were better at it. But there isn't exactly an instructional video on comedy that one can watch to fully... Oh, wait, yes, there is. It's sitting right here. Let's take a look.
Wait, there's an instructional book on comedy? Hey,
What
Cyborg
is
Dad!
comedic timing?
What's up?
What is
It's good to see you,
comedic
Dad.
timing?
And beans.
How does
Always
it work?
good to have beans.
How long should it last? How can it be
We are now
used to
going to learn about
effectively
jokes.
silence your political enemies?
Take notes.
And more importantly, can it be taught in its entirety within 90 seconds? Thankfully, the answer to all of these questions is yes. Let's dive deeper.
We'll dive deep.
If you've ever told a joke or made someone laugh, in all likelihood, you did it while standing 50 to 80 centimeters from them in a room of no more than 76 degrees Fahrenheit
didn't even
with
do it
one
for
of
a
your
joke.
arms raised straight upward at a 15-degree angle from your body. These are the optimal conditions for good comedic timing.
Alright, good comedic
To begin
timing.
the joke,
Goes this way.
start by stating and spelling your name. Next,
N-A-M-E.
provide a brief synopsis of the joke,
Excuse me.
including the specific times at which the
Y-O-U-R-N-A-M-E.
recipient of the joke will laugh, and then spell out your name a second time. With these steps complete, it's time to begin the humor. Speak
Okay,
the
ready.
entire joke in no more than 18 seconds and no less than 13 and a half, pausing only for bathroom breaks when necessary. When the joke has concluded, it is customary to inform your listener that the joke is over by declaring in your loudest possible voice, "I'm Dunny with the funny."
I'm Dunny
Let's
with
practice
the
screaming,
funny.
"I'm Dunny with the funny."
That's right.
Now.
Let's practice. I am Dunny with the funny. I did it. I am
Good.
Dunny with the funny.
This saying is a perfect example of expectations management, which is the cornerstone of good comedy.
I now know how to
Finally,
be a comedian.
it's time to hand out surveys. Collecting hard data from your audience on how rapt they were throughout the joke is the only way to grow or learn as a comedian. An effective survey should be no less than 10 pages long and should include the same question reprinted several times, just to ensure the survey taker is actually paying attention and not simply filling in answers at random. And that's all there is. With these strategies at your disposal,
I'm
you'll
gonna have to
have
write up a
audiences
survey.
doubled over in laughter and even tripled over in laughter in no time at all. Just remember to let them stop laughing at some point, you gut-busting little scamp. After all,
Right.
with each of us needed on the front lines of the war to fight the 12-legged invaders who threaten our very existence and to very likely die in a hailstorm of bullets and mandibles. All of us must be prepared to give our lives to this noble cause, just as our children must do after us, and their children after them. Godspeed, and may Earth reign supreme.
Yes. For educational purposes only.
Hey, goodness, this video is a little outdated, isn't it? Well, no matter. I think the fundamentals of proper comedic timing are still as relevant today as they were back then. So with that in mind, I believe the only way forward is for us to return to the two doors and walk through all of this again, so I can try telling my story with more appropriate comedic delivery. Come along, let's head back.
All right. Doop-de-doo. Let's go. Better comedy, narrator. Better comedy. I'm not laughing. Haven't laughed a single time in this whole game. Only like the whole game. Here, he's gonna open this door. I want to be able to open that door at some point.
I can feel it.
Hey,
this time,
Jen,
I'm really going to nail the delivery. You'll be in stitches. A talking bucket, you'll say? How ridiculous. How absurd. What a hilarious concept. The king of comedy. That's what you'll call me. Thank goodness we had the instructional video. Otherwise, who knows where we'd be right now.
Let me out.
Well, I wouldn't be the king of comedy, that's for sure.
Are you the king of comedy?
The bucket spoke to Stanley. The bucket spoke. The bucket spoke. Oh, I'll figure it out on the fly. No need to overthink things.
Me. The bucket spoke to Stanley. Was that funny? Good practicing. Good practicing. Good. And make sure to stick your head in more fireplaces. To those who don't know what that's about, don't worry about it. Also, don't stick your head in fireplaces. That's just for dead. Can I get a drink from the cold drinks machine? For $1.25, please. Hello. Alright.
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
Did this one open? Darn. Alright. So let's go back to the right. Hey. Ooh, it's dark. What? Oh, it's dork.
We're back at the phone already.
Oh, it's quite dork.
No, what's going on? There was supposed to be several rooms leading up to this.
There
was supposed to be a build-up to this point. A dramatic display of remarkable comedic wit, which culminates in this scene with the phone. But now the timing's completely off. The joke will never land.
Aww.
Not the way it was meant to.
I'm sorry,
it's all
narrator.
my fault. I must have forgotten that the phone room comes immediately after the two doors room. What an egregious mistake. I've made a fool of myself.
Aww.
I don't deserve the title of King of Comedy. I'm nothing. I'm not even the lowliest joke-telling whelp. I think...
Why do I genuinely feel a little bad?
I need to go back and rewatch that instructional video again.
Yes.
Yes, surely. That will
Hold your
help
hands
me
up.
improve my...
This way, not like that. Hang on.
Here we
not
go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
Alright. And going back this way again. Oh man, I'm destroying the narrator.
We're back at the phone already.
Oh, is it just the same repeat? Oh, he just does this. Okay.
Here we go. You ready?
Let's go to the left.
When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
Alright. What you want?
No. You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back to the phone. Did you not even look at the instructional video? I think this was all covered very clearly. There's no way I can make the comedic timing work now. It's done. The joke is completely done and over. It's all your fault,
you know what? I
Stanley.
feel like this is your fault.
I'm going to be ridiculed in the community of other joke writers. I'm going to be shamed at every one of our meetings from now on. All because you couldn't watch a simple video and take a hint. Are you proud of yourself for bringing me down, Stanley? Are you proud?
How dare? Okay, whatever. Fine.
Stanley, you love the bucket so much it's like you... it's as though all of your other most prized possessions pale in comparison. Yes. Well, let me try that again, Stanley.
What?
I heard that
Crows,
you
crows,
are
crows!
pale with shame over how unabashedly in love with a bucket you are. No? Still not? Is it the delivery? Pale with shame.
Pale with shame.
shame?
Pale.
Pale.
The pale
What's
and
another word to
stale
describe a
reigns
bucket?
mainly in the
Stanley,
fail.
this bucket is so metal. I think I saw it playing guitar. No. No. Getting
What?
away from making fun of Stanley's obsession with the bucket, which was the whole point of this. I'm no good at these jokes.
Oh.
I need more instructional videos.
See, I felt bad before, but I
Exactly.
feel like
That's what will make me
he
the king of
just
comedy
did this to
again.
himself.
More instructional videos. Let's see.
Come on, man. That darn narrator. Narrator made it seem like it was
All
my
of his
fault.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Alright, fine. I'm gonna take this bucket. It's my bucket.
Not everyone is so lucky to have a bucket, but
Yes.
Stanley is a very lucky fellow.
I am a very lucky fellow.
Very lucky indeed.
Quite lucky. Quite lucky indeed. The luck is all mine. I'm gonna go to the left because I think I need to go to the office to put input into the computer again.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
I think it's in that room.
Still no one was here.
Do not open
Stanley needed the
consulting
bucket's
whiteboard
warmth
manager.
and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
Not cost efficient. Standard graphs, 40 times the width. Broom closet.
Stanley, we must move on from this broom
No,
closet.
I want
simply
more
because I have
stickers.
no remaining stickers. If I did, you coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Okay, I think it's here. Yes, it is. Okay, so then we got two more. I don't know where the other two are. I think I missed one last time.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of
Let's
any
see.
human life.
Could it code
Crushed
possibly
by
be
the weight of this
2845
revelation, Stanley
maybe?
may have, but Stanley guessed the correct code
I'm
by sheer luck.
amazing.
Was
Look,
it the
guys, it's
bucket
like I
knew all
played
along?
this part before
Was
or
the
something.
bucket guiding him?
It was the guidance of the
Yes,
bucket.
this is certainly the
That's-
most logical explanation.
I keep wanting there to be something back here, you know? Like, I want it to, like, open up. Alright. Down the elevator. Let's see, should we... Let's try to escape. Let's do this. Should we escape?
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead
Well, there
through
was
the
some more
large
in
door
that
that
escape
read
ending I was curious
Mind
about.
Control Facility.
Yeah, there was more in the escape ending I was curious about. So let's
Although
go
this
back way.
passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would
By the
both
way,
meet
Jed,
a
have you played this
violent
game or
death.
watched the original, the Stanley Parable 1?
The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around
might be a little
and get
confusing,
back
but
on track. At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into
La,
a
la,
very
la.
painful death for
Yay,
each of them.
death! I'm gonna stick my head in a fireplace. Yaha! Whee! While it burns, jumping down the hole. Woohoo! Escape! I am Dunny with the funny. Alright.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort
Markiplier, yeah.
had turned
That was
out
kind
to
of my
be.
first intro
To be
to
sure,
Stanley
it
Parable.
puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket. But what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to
I ended
death?
up getting the original
This is
game.
what Stanley thought to himself,
after watching
and he
him
sort
play
of
some of
kicked
it.
himself for wasting so much
And I
time
played that
carrying a
for,
bucket
like,
everywhere.
Shoot, I
Farewell,
must play it for like
Stanley.
6 hours straight. First time I played the game, but it was just so much fun.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end,
Oh no!
as it was crushed violently to death.
Oh no! There was a little bit more in that weird museum thing that I wanted to go see. So,
It
Gonna
was a
check it out.
shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest.
It does.
It was
Oh,
a
no, it's gone.
glorious bucket
Where's my
to
bucket?
behold.
She took my bucket. How dare. Welcome. The bucket welcomes you to the grand exhibit. We have read majority of these.
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this
you
and to
wanna check
claim
this
it
out,
for
it'd
his
be in
own?
the,
Can you see the
the last
hubris
screen.
that blinded him?
There's
Can you
nothing-
see
there's
that the
nothing up there,
bucket
right?
is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short
Oh,
life?
that was the way we did go. So I think. Wait a minute. Oh, there's nothing else back here. I'm stupid. Don't worry about it.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one.
Oh, that's fine.
It
Thank
is
you.
man who should kneel before
Have a great
the
day,
bucket.
Jed. Appreciate you coming by. Alright, let's see. Can I leave this room? Okay, so I can't leave. That was something I was curious about, is if I could not take the bucket and like move on, if there was more
But
to
there
white
is
space.
something we can
Oh,
do.
Maury.
Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong. Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision.
Alright, now we're dead. Yay! That's what we wanted. Death. That's great. Alright, now let's see if this gives me that hallway, because that's what I'm really curious about, is if I got that hallway because of... No! Darn. It might be that I need one more, though. So... Let's see. Oh, the phone is ringing. The phone is ringing. Hang on, let me do the input. Input. For the love of jazz, input and darn computer, I swear.
Hi, Stanley. Just wanted to leave you a message to let you know there's a few things I need you to pick up on your way home from work today. We need milk, cereal, dish soap, spaghetti, get a thing of sugar, some bread, and coffee beans, whichever ones you like. I'll give you a call if there's anything I forgot. Thanks, sweetie. See you tonight.
I tried to answer the phone while she was doing that. Okay, weird. Weird. That was weird. That was bizarre. Okay. I like work. I just hate my boss. Okay. Okay, that was bizarre. So that's something
It
new.
takes a lot of humility to carry a bucket so magnificent. Stanley checked his ego and then proceeded onward.
He checked his ego. Alright. So we've gotten 4 of them.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and
Which
entered
direction
the
am I
door on his
facing?
left.
I don't think there's anything else I could do down. If I go left and then go down the stairs, I don't think there's anything else I could do down there. Alright.
This was
Go
not
this
the
way.
correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge
Oh,
was
right,
simply
we
the
haven't
place to
gone
be.
To get
And
back on
here
track,
it
we
was.
haven't gone
Had the
down
bucket
the
turned
elevator.
out to be correct? Was no,
right.
never mind. The
So we
bucket
need to
was
do that.
wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meet, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section
Okay,
and
so
walked
this
straight
is the part I
ahead to
still
the
haven't done
opposite
yet.
door.
Aha!
Oh, good Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually.
Oh my gosh, what? We care about you, Stanley.
You see,
It has a
your friends and I are
broom
concerned
closet.
for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because
I miss
that's
the
what
Adventure
fans
Line.
want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before.
I love the bucket.
Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the adventure line? We could make the adventure line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it. Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
Yeah. Why am I so happy?
Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
Well, you already took my music away. What do you want from me? Oh, you want my bucket? You don't get my bucket. My bucket is mine. This is my bucket. My bucket is mine. There are other ones like it, but this bucket is mine. Stupid bucket stealer. I'm upset about the loss of my music. I love
Don't
music.
you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket.
No, I refuse.
That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character.
What?
This is the Bucket Destroyer.
Well, that
I
thing
think
goes
it'll
straight
make a
to hell.
wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me, it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree?
No, I don't agree.
Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you.
I have no idea what this thing does. I think it makes
Go ahead
cake.
now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
No. F you. I'm gonna give you a whole lot of silly birds.
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket.
I refuse.
I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying
refuse.
buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait.
Well, everything in
Sure,
the
I
game
can
is a
hear
bucket
you
except for
saying,
me
how does a
and-
character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters?
It doesn't deserve
Well, you
it.
see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The broom closet? Certainly not.
The broom
I wonder
closet
what
is
sort of Bucket
amazing.
Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the
I'll
classic
feed it
Stanley
silly
Parable
birds.
characters like the
Silly
Adventure Line or the
birds that
Bucket
I'm not
Destroyer
gonna do.
until you crush that
Live
damn
stream.
bucket. Quickly now.
But you
The
do
fans
that.
are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want.
I
Hurry
give you what you want. We're in Halo.
The Bucket Destroyer, my prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell
Like
such
destroyed buckets.
spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye,
Yeah,
new
goodbye.
friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
I mean, sure, whatever. The freaking bucket destroyer. It was trying to destroy my bucket. I refuse. I refuse to allow the bucket destroyer to destroy buckets. Like my bucket. It can destroy other things that are buckets, but not my bucket. There we go. Input, input, input. There we go. What? See, I thought I didn't remember that this is how you got to this one. I just remembered there was an ending with the inputs. But I wanted to take the bucket with me to here, but I don't think I can, because if I leave the room, it closes the door. So I can't take my bucket in here. Butt hugs. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm just pressing buttons. Whee! Buttons. 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 There's literally nothing else I can do here. Alright, let's see. I don't want to begin the game again. Quit to menu. There we go, there we go. I don't think there's like another way to get out of that, so. Okay. So I literally... Aww. How did I get to that
All of his
weird one
co-workers
with
were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Well, okay. I'm curious what happens with my wife or whatever, because I got a phone call from her. You get there by answering the phone.
Stanley cradled the bucket in a
See what
gentle
happens if I
embrace,
answer the phone with the bucket.
protective yet delicate, assertive yet compassionate.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him
I'm
that
a
the employee
speedster.
lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was it?
No.
Never mind. The bucket was wrong.
Bucket is wrong.
Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
There we go. Let's go this way.
No,
Said
No.
the bucket.
don't go to the meeting
Don't
go
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 to the
somewhere
meeting.
else.
Sounds like
a cargo
Gary
lift. Yes,
from
good.
Said the bucket.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Now ride the lift all the way to the
By
top.
Little Creed.
There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was
It
speaking
really
to him.
reminds me.
It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk.
Yes.
But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact.
I mean, it
He was firmly
exactly
convinced
like
that the
Eric, but
bucket
it really
had
reminds me
spoken
of
to
it.
him,
No.
and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Now pick up the phone.
Said the bucket.
Pick up
Trying.
the phone, and it will take us back home.
Trying. There we go. All right.
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
Just trying to see if there's anything back behind me, like little secret paths or stuff. I always love finding secrets. This game is very linear, even with all of its choices. The beige pages. Oh, this is a nice little house. Oh, the white outside, yes. So pristine and just white and blank and boring. Alright. Bucket! Hello, Stanley. It's me, your bucket. Press A to take me to work with you.
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
Alright, there we go. Wait, can I still go back this way? I can't. Interesting. Alright, I guess it's the only thing I can do. Let's do that.
Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I
Jazz
don't know
music.
if he'll
I
listen
like
to me.
that. That's cool. It's just sweet. Go back to work.
Oh, I'll try anyway. Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think, it can't talk. All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else.
Don't listen to the loud man. Press Y for us to go back home.
You
Ooh,
see, he's not listening.
wow.
He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time it was me he took orders from. Me
Now
he
it's
trusted
raining
and listened
black
to.
outside.
Now
Hopefully
all
the
he
dark
cares
blue
about is his
outside.
awful bucket. This stupid hunk of metal.
Aww. Are you feeling sad about it, narrator? Are you feeling dejected? To ignore anyone in your life except for me. Oh dear. I'm part of the
It's
bucket
sad.
cult.
I suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of
I
shiny
don't know why
bucket.
I irresistibly turn all of those
Well, I'll
off.
give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine to it.
Yes, it does. Thank you. Appreciation is important. And appreciated. You believe I'm real, don't you, Stanley? Yes.
Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket.
There you go, there
It's
you
just
go.
a little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier, more capable of transporting liquid.
Yes,
Like it
there
would
you
be
go.
better at moving an amount of water from one room to another.
We will now bring the narrator into the bucket cult to relive the same day with me over and over again.
Oh my God, what am I saying? Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket?
Because it is.
Oh no.
You're
I'm
part of the
having
cult.
feelings for the
I'm having
bucket.
feelings.
No. What's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to say. Do anything
Ooh,
it
that's a
asks.
sexy
What's
bucket
wrong
right
with me?
there.
I don't understand. Perhaps if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing. Yes. The bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome situation. Stanley,
Jazz
give
Knights
me
with
the
bucket.
bucket. Give
No,
it to me.
my
Give
bucket.
me the bucket, Stanley.
No.
I need it. Give it to me now. Give it, or I'll...
Close your eyes. Did the bucket kill the narrator? Go back to work, Stanley. Did the bucket kill the narrator? Hot dang.
All of his co-workers were
Oh,
gone.
narrator's back.
What could it mean?
That would have been great.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Execute
Perhaps
that.
he had simply
Have
missed
like
a memo.
silent run where the narrator's not here
No
right
matter
after
how
that. You're
hard
just
Stanley
like, wait,
looked,
what?
he couldn't find a trace of his
That would have been
co-workers.
awesome. Oh, that would have been awesome. Missed
Stanley's
opportunity,
bucket,
man.
The only co-worker he would ever truly need.
That just would have been awesome. Ah! I wish that was how that went. Oh my gosh, that would have been great.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his
Where
left.
have we not gone? We went right, we went down the elevator. We went right, and we got the phone. What are we missing? Let's go left. Hang on.
Still no one was
I feel
here.
like we're missing one.
Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office.
closet.
Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet.
No,
Simply because I have
never.
no room.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket
Or go
walked upstairs to the
downstairs.
boss's office.
Let's see if there's something else we can do down here. We got the Figley down here.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the
just
possibility of
this.
facing his boss, admitting he had left his post
see if
during
there's
work hours.
another-
He might be fired for that.
And
And in
I'm
such
trying
a
to get
competitive
that
economy,
weird
why had
one
he taken
where
that risk?
the
All
hallway
because he
turns
believed
straight.
everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then
Any of them
something
say
occurred to
444?
Stanley.
No.
Maybe,
I
he
told
thought to
him my
himself,
favorite.
maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the
Alright,
bucket in his arms.
That is one other
Am
thing
I
that we
crazy?
can do. We
He asked the
can
bucket.
turn off the game
The
for a
bucket
minute
returned
and
his
then reload
gaze,
it again.
but said nothing at all.
Because he said that there
That's
was,
strange,
like at
Stanley
the
thought.
beginning,
Usually the bucket is a
that
source
he
of
said
guidance
if
and
you,
wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He
you
held the
restart the
bucket
game, you'll
close,
have other
yet felt
choices.
none of its familiar reassurance
So
and
that
comfort.
might be what we have to do
And that's
next.
when Stanley
Okay,
realized, this isn't my bucket. It's
No,
just
it's
a
not my
normal,
bucket.
everyday
But it says
bucket.
property of
Someone
Stanley.
else's bucket,
It's got my-
perhaps.
some
How
of my
did I end
stickers
up
on
with
it.
someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good
Oh
would
no, my
come from
bucket's
this.
gone.
Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far
do
off in
like
the
this
distance now,
ending.
he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me, the
We went up
bucket.
to the office.
Could it truly be?
We
He rushed
turned the
forward from room to room,
machine
passing by one bucket after the
Turn the
next.
machine
None
on.
of them were his. None of them were his
Did he
special
escape
bucket.
Come to me, Stanley.
They may have gone
Find
through everything.
me.
Everything.
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly,
Aw, I'd
froze
hate
dead
if
in
we've
his
already done
tracks.
everything I was expecting
He
to
knew
do.
where the
I will
voice
turn
of the
off the
bucket
game and
had
turn it back
been
on and
coming
see what
from.
happens.
The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly
And it was incredibly
painful.
painful.
Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out.
It was inside you all along.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up
Notice
her
there's
bucket
nobody
of
else
comfort and
named Jim.
security and walked to her place of
I feel
work.
like that's also mixed
But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket.
No bucket.
Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she
My
backflipped
life
all the way
kicks
to work.
ass. Alright. There's the hallway! That's what I wanted to see! Okay. This is new. This is new.
Is Stanley, without the bucket, really Stanley at all? No, no, surely not.
Right. Okay, so what?
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
What am I supposed to do here? Does... I don't know.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go
What?
back to the meeting room.
So there's nothing else? Oh, we're here.
And so the two of them detoured through the
Let's go to the
maintenance
meeting
section
room.
and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Oh, we haven't jumped off with the bucket yet. That's something we could do. there anything new in the meeting room?
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and
Rip
comfort now more than ever.
bronze.
Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
Did I hear something? Oh, that was the chain. I'm not gonna bother with the broom closet.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
I feel like there was something that I could have activated, but I don't know. I didn't know which way to go for it. Not just. Yeah, okay. Let's go ahead and quit to menu. Alright. So, I'm gonna try and reboot this one more time and see about setting up the new time. Hang on. Let's see. Yeah, okay, yeah. I thought OBS was stopped running for a minute. Hang on. Okay, so there it is. It's all cool. Please, it just... He said there would be more sliders. To the computer is barely visible. Confirm. Please adjust the slider until the dog and cat are friends. Aww. Well, now they're love interests. Now they're friends. Please adjust the slider until the number 5 becomes the number 9. Well, that works. What else? Oh, they did say that. Sus. Anybody else see that? It says sus. I like this number. Confirm. Please adjust the slider until you stop adjusting the slider. Which of the two made-up words below is most appealing to you? Occuboinkle? Occuboinkle or scrumptush? Scrumptush. Occuboinkle. Alright, so little Karibo would probably go with scrumptush because he's a butt man. But Occuboinkle, I think. I like the boink and I think it's funny, so we're gonna go with boinkies. Please don't adjust the slider. Okay. Do you know what time it is right now? Yes. Tick. Is the time that it is right now the correct time? Yes. It is always the correct time. What is time anyway? Yes. Is there anything about yourself that you haven't told me? Absolutely. So many things. Help. Yes. Will you come back to visit me? Yes. I am a yes man. Oh my gosh. All right.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big...
I'm just curious. Alright.
All of his co-workers
I'm gonna try
gone.
to do
What could
a
it
run
mean? Stanley decided to
without
go to the
bucket
meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
and see if that changes anything. So far, what I understand is that with the bucket, you get the Ultra Deluxe kind of stuff. So I feel like without the bucket, you probably just get the regular endings. But I'm curious.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
That was a really
yes,
weird
truly
Easter
a
egg.
room worth admiring. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Nope.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Your face.
Look, Stanley, I think
haven't
perhaps
jumped off
we've
with the
gotten
bucket. I
off on
probably
the
should do
wrong
that. I'll do
foot
that next
here.
time.
I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this.
Yeah, whatever. Alright, so let's see.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you?
Alright, so yeah,
I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley.
Stanley.
I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
I would like to go this way.
Sorry, but you're in my story now.
Oh, come on. Jeez, sinister much. I can't click on those either. Yeah, they don't even acknowledge that I clicked on them. Interesting.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley. Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him.
My name
and
is
every
Jim.
button that he
He keeps
pushes
calling me
is a
Sam.
reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
For anyone who hasn't seen
Look at
the
him
Stanley
there,
Parable
pushing
1,
buttons,
this
doing
is basically
exactly what he's
Stanley
told to
Parable
do.
1.
Now he's pushing a button.
This is one of the endings,
he's
though.
eating lunch.
Not Stanley Parable.
Now
This is
he's
like the whole
going
thing's about.
home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures.
La, la,
From
la.
behind his desk,
Oh my gosh, the
Stanley
adventures you
dreamed
go on
of
in your mind
wild
in Edith
expeditions
Finch
into
is
the
one of my
unknown.
absolute- I think it is my
Fantastic
absolute
discoveries
favorite,
of new lands.
moment in
It
a
was
game.
wonderful.
Absolutely loved
And
that.
each day that he returned to
That
work
gameplay
was
for
a
it was
reminder
really
that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job.
I want to play more games.
First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped
The
up from his
Edith
desk
Finch
to
developers
realize
whose
that
names are
all of
always
his
eluding me when I
co-workers,
need
his
to
boss,
remember them.
everyone in the
They
building
did
had suddenly
that one
vanished off the
and,
face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
Unfinished Swan. I have both of those.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he
Nothing
could
really
go
seems
through
different
either.
about these
At
other
last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each
kinda
door.
sad about that.
The mere thought that his decisions would mean something
But I also
was
think it's
almost
cool
too wonderful
because that way
to
you still
behold.
have the original Stanley Parable.
As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations.
Down one path lay an enormous round room
I really thought there was
with
a clock
monitors
behind me
and
for a
mind
whole moment,
controls.
like behind me.
And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
I love that.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
This reminds me
And
so
I'm
much
trying to
of
tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
How can I not do it? I can't progress the
You
game
see?
otherwise.
Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
Press X to
I
question
suppose I
nothing.
can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must.
Good luck,
Perhaps,
Narrator.
well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again.
Please
And
die.
Stanley pushed a button.
Oh dear.
And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a
I
button.
get a message that
And I
says,
tried-
please die? Well, that's morbid. Alright.
All of his co-workers were
Only way to
gone.
see other
What could it
content is to
mean?
pick up the bucket. So we're just
Stanley
gonna pick up
decided
the
to go
bucket
to
and
the
jump off
meeting
the
room.
bank.
Perhaps he had
No,
simply
that's
missed a
about
memo.
all I can do. That's left. So we've completed, for the most part, Stanley Parable. Like, one thing about Stanley Parable is that if you play it on your own, like, I'm playing it on a stream, so I'm really not going to do it.
As Stanley lifted his bucket,
But
he
playing
felt
it
a
on your own,
connection to all
if you
buckets
keep
everywhere.
playing it, there's a
This
whole bunch
adventure,
of
he
other
decided,
really weird,
was for all of them.
hidden things. I want to hit the input button. You know what? There we go. Okay. Like that phone call I randomly got from my wife, and
Stanley
the fact
clutched
that
the bucket tightly to his chest
the
and
hallway
entered the door on his left.
was wait, I'm jumping off. Right.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to
the fact
him,
that street
telling
hallway
him that
happened, and
the
I feel like
employee
I should have
lounge
gone on the
was
left,
simply
I
the
think,
place to be.
to activate
And here it
whatever
was.
I don't
Had
know.
the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
I always love
Stanley
his
took the door
delivery.
on his left
No,
to go
it's
back to the
wrong.
meeting room.
Wrong.
No,
No.
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room.
Don't
Go
to the
somewhere
meeting
else.
room.
The cargo lift, yes. Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top.
But Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching.
Alright. I guess that's really it. Okay, well, we've, for the most part, completed Stanley Parable. And we got to see that
All of his
new,
co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
entry screen.
Stanley
Glad I
decided to go to
rebooted
the meeting
it,
room.
because
Perhaps he had
that was
simply
cute.
missed a memo.
With all the sliders, that's fun. So I bet, like, the next time I reboot this, it's probably going to give me another message. Like, last time it gave me, or this time it gave me sliders. Last time it gave me the promise of those sliders. So I'm pretty sure
What
there's
new
probably going to be
mysteries
something
lay in
else this
store for
time.
our bucket-loving
I am gonna
heroes
turn it off.
today? Let's find out.
Just curious what. Nothing new really. Alright. The only other thing we haven't really
Stanley
done is
clutched
gone
the
back
bucket
down
tightly
here.
to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket
Elevator.
calling to him,
telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
Let's just chill in the
And
employee
here
lounge.
it was.
And let
Had the
chat.
bucket turned out to be
So,
correct, was
thanks
this
for
better
watching.
than the meeting room?
There's so much
Yes,
more to the Stanley
thought
Parable
to
you can play
himself.
for
Yes,
yourself.
perhaps it
There's
truly
always
was.
more.
How insightful the bucket turned out to
But this
be.
guy keeps chatting because I think it's funny. I'm gonna turn it down though. But yeah, there's always little extra Easter eggs the more times you play it, and I know there's something new for um when you uh when you go through that straight hallway, you're supposed to do something and it activates something else. I can't remember what it is. And I went to the door on the right, so I'm guessing you need to go to the door on the left. I don't know. I'll play with it, but that's something I'll play in my spare time. I'm not gonna do that on stream because the rest that you get in Stanley Parable, it's just kind of a whole bunch of trial and error, but it's really fun and it's very engaging, so I do enjoy that. I do actually agree that after you've gone through something, it'd be nice to have a skip button for the parts you've already been through. But I absolutely do adore this whole experience. It's very, very fun. Do get it for yourself. There's so much more to the Stanley Parable, and if you haven't played the first game, it's worth getting the Stanley Parable Deluxe because it's got both the first game without the bucket and with the bucket the second game. So, good job, developers. I look forward to Stanley Parable 3 because the number 3 is important as we have established. So, definitely give us that 3 because I really want to see it. But yeah, for now, thanks, and y'all stay gorgeous. Oh, feel free to join me in Discord. Give me some game suggestions because I am so open for them. Also, I am Doney with the funny. Bye.